Let's talk then global. And this is studying abroad, studying in Japan. We had a conversation a couple of weeks back on studying in Japan, especially for postgraduate studies and getting, how you can get either scholarships or how you can just get to know the universities and whatever programs they're offering, their admission criteria, how you can go and work and study in Japan, how then also the government of Japan is encouraging people from Africa to go in, study in Japan, and you can also work for a while in Japan. Let's now shift the conversation to undergraduate studies because there are many people who are asking, so what about undergraduate studies? And our friend from Study in Japan Global Network, the coordinator for Africa, Dr. Midori Diamond, is joining us now on the line. Good morning, Dr. Midori.
Good morning.
It's good to
How are
have you
you?
on the show again.
Very well.
Very well, thank you.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
today she's joined by Ryosuke Hori, who is the International Inbound Coordinator for International Affairs Office at Toyo University. Ryosuke Han, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting us.
Yes, asante sana for joining us. Now, we'll speak to you, Dr. Midori, starting with you. The last time we were talking about postgraduate studies. Now it's undergraduate studies that we're talking about. So, how there are many universities, obviously, in Japan that are offering undergraduate study programs for Kenyans seeking to go and study in Japan. How easy is it to look through the universities, to go through the application, to go through the maybe interviewing and selection process, and to travel to Japan?
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. Yeah, actually now that many university is providing many courses offered in English in undergraduate level. Yeah, and now we are collecting 75 courses from 27 universities. They have various courses from engineering to natural science and also some social sciences studies. Yes, and most of all procedure for application is online. So when you are in Kenya, you can apply to undergraduate course. Yes.
How do you get to see the 27 universities?
How? Okay, we have some list to provide the information on those courses. So please, you can visit our website. Or also today we have a guest from Toyo University. Toyo University has also good courses in undergraduate studies. So maybe he will explain more about it. Thank you.
Indeed. Then come in, Ryosuke-san. Tell us about Toyo University, where you're located, kind of programs that you offer. How old is this university? People want to know whether they're going into an institution that has some heritage.
Okay, thank you. So Toyo University founded in 87. So we have more than 130 years history. And our main campus is located in the very center of Tokyo. And we have 5 different campuses in and around Tokyo area. It depends on which program you belong to, which campus you will be studying. And we are private, comprehensive private university, and our student population is more than 31,000. So it's one of the largest private universities in Japan.
So now when you look at that, then obviously there's a huge population of students who are already attending this university. And then if there's a call for more to come from different parts of the world, are you saying that there's space and it's open for more to join, as many as could?
Yes, most of the courses are taught in Japanese, so we require new students to have certain level of Japanese language proficiency level for international students. But we have some courses taught in all in English or partially in English. So in those programs, we actively recruit international students from all over the world.
So you're saying then the students that you're recruiting from other parts of the world then will only be able to sit certain courses unless they speak Japanese. It seems like that would be a challenge.
Yes, yes. For courses taught in Japanese, it's undergraduate university level courses. So you are expected to have a certain Japanese level. We take JLPT, which is Japanese language proficiency test, or other Japanese proficiency tests for admissions requirement. But for courses taught in English, they only have to have English proficiency level.
Okay. So what are some of the areas then, course areas that are offered whereby your proficiency in English is what is required? What are some of those course areas?
Yes. So since we are focusing on undergraduate level today, so we have basically three programs offered in English. First one is about kind of business economics kind of mixed together. It's called Global Innovation Program. And the second one is Regional Development Studies, where students study about political science, international relations, and also development studies. And the last one, this is IT computer science program called Information Networking for Innovation and Design. This course is partly taught in English and partly taught in Japanese. So students do not have to have any Japanese level at the time of application or at time of admission, but they gradually, are taught Japanese, and they will be taking courses in Japanese after sophomore, second year.
Yosuke-san, of course, the next question that someone would want to know is, how expensive is it to study at Toyo University?
Okay. Our tuition is about the average among Japanese private universities. So, yearly it's about 10,000 US dollars. That's the average, but it kind of depends on which program you belong to.
So an average of 10,000 US dollars per year, and this is only tuition. So how much else would a student coming from Kenya need, for upkeep around Tokyo? You say you are located in the center of Tokyo. How much then more would someone need?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So international students can get a partial tuition waiver at Toyo University. Actually, it's eligible for all international students as long as they have student visa. So technically, 30% of tuition will be reduced automatically. And that's for first year. And from second year and ahead, it will be 20 to 40%, depending on their academic performance. So with that, many students are, of course, many students are working part-time in Tokyo because it's very expensive to live in Tokyo. But if you can commute for 1 hour or so every day, to the campus, the housing cost will be much cheaper than one might think. So students can survive with a little bit of part-time job and the tuition waiver, financial aid.
You're the inbound coordinator at this university, so obviously you deal a lot with international students who are coming to study at Toyo University. When you are advising a student who's been admitted to any of the programs to come, and yes, they've gotten this generous partial 30% waiver on the first year for tuition, so basically it's come down from 10,000 a year to 7,000 a year. That's some generous. How much would you advise them that they need for upkeep if they are living within Japan and if they were to commute and live outside of, within Tokyo?
Okay, that's a kind of difficult question because it depends on the lifestyle of each student. But on average, I would say students have to have about $1,000 US dollars for everything, for like housing, for mobile, clothes, food, and everything. So plus, of course, they have to pay for tuition and some other fees.
Is this per month?
So,
You're
yeah.
looking at $1,000 extra dollars per month, or for over what period?
Per month, yes.
Okay. All right. So we're looking at 4-year courses here at an undergraduate level. Then in terms, a lot of people, we look at it now that education and then thereafter getting into some kind of gainful employment, and maybe also Midori-san can come in here as well, looking at gainful employment thereafter, maybe not necessarily going back to your country of origin, even though there's an option, take your expertise back home. But what opportunities then are available, whether then you want to then go into extra study or then, stay in Japan, get some work experience under your belt. What is that an option? Is that something that's encouraged, or how then does this transition happen?
Yeah, okay, let me answer a bit. Okay, now almost 40% of international students at undergraduate level got some job opportunities in Japan. So it means it's good if you want to work in Japan after graduation. It's good to enter from the undergraduate level, because even if you will be taught in English, but when in the daily life you will learn some language, Japanese language, and then it would benefit you, because if you want search for job in Japan, it's good to have some Japanese proficiency actually. Yeah, and then most of campus, including Toyo University, have good Japanese language course, so you can take it when you are doing your courses. And also let me add some information about the cost expenses in Japan. Actually, yeah, Tokyo is a bit expensive area, as Ryosuke-san already explained, but average living expenses in Japan is like $780 per month, including residence, food, and other fees, utilities, and also communities fee. So yeah, so if you as Ryosuke-san explained, if you stay a bit far from the campus, yeah, you will get good accommodation when it's reasonable prices. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so then I would want to also know, maybe now going back to Toyo University, for those who are in Kenya, for example, or in other parts of the continent, who are then looking for opportunities, what is the application process like? How do they get into this? How do they start? What process do you go through in terms of a wait period? What are you asking people to do in terms of time? And when do the semesters start? Kind of thing. Maybe, okay.
Okay. So Toyo accepts new students in spring and fall. So in April and September, right? And for each admission period, we have application period for admission. So the first thing students need to do is maybe to look at the application guidelines, and they should understand what kind of documents they are supposed to submit. So and when the application period comes, then they should submit everything online. Okay. Then we'll check their documents, and we will have an online interview and document screening within our screening committee. Then students will get the final result, and if they're accepted, they should fulfill the admissions procedure. Then they should get ready for coming to Japan. So we will take care of help the visa process, and also like housing, advising, and we give them a lot of different kinds of orientations for when they come.
When somebody moves into a new country, and especially you're talking about undergrad students, so this are people who've just cleared, let's say, high school in the country. They're about 19. They're moving into a new country. There's a new culture. There's getting to understand, to meet new people. How do you take them through that? through that orientation of the culture, the people, the community as well.
Yes, we always encourage international students who come to Japan for the first time to live in our university dormitory. There are many international exchange students from all over the world, and there are also some Japanese students living there. So it's a good environment for students to help with each other to get used to the life in Japan and life in Toyo University. So yeah, that's the biggest thing we offer.
Okay, maybe before we take the break, out of the 31,000 students currently at Toyo University, how many international students do you have?
We currently have 1,200 international students, although not everyone is on campus. Some of them are taking courses online for the time being.
In is a significant number of them from Africa?
Not many. We only have maybe 10, 15 students from Africa.
Okay. Let's continue this conversation after this short break. We have with us on the line Dr. Midori Daimon. She is a Study in Japan coordinator at the Study in Japan Global Network. And Ryosuke Hori, he's the inbound coordinator at the International Affairs Office of Toyo University. This is a university that was established in 1887. It's in the middle of Tokyo. They offer various programs. We're talking about undergraduate studies at Toyo University, just looking at undergraduate studies in Japan. What do you need to do if you are looking to get opportunities in Japan? How many of these opportunities are available in various universities? And Midori-san has told us there are 27 universities offering this English course program in 75 courses for international students. So very many opportunities. Let's get to understand these opportunities and how you can take advantage of them. At 26 minutes after 8, Kenya's biggest conversation on SpiceFM, KTN Home, and online. We'll be back shortly. Studying in Japan, undergraduate studies at Toyo University, a university that was established in 1887, has been in existence for more than 100 years. It's in the middle of Tokyo. And the inbound coordinator for international affairs, Ryosuke Hori, joins us on the line, as well as Dr. Midori Daimon, who is the coordinator for Study in Japan Global Network. We are talking about these opportunities in this particular university today. We'll be having more conversations with Midori-san on other opportunities in other universities as well. Midori, so you said there are 27 universities that Kenyans can apply for undergrad studies for 75 courses in engineering, in social sciences, and I forgot the other one. What else was the other one?
Yeah, actually, if you have interest in Japan itself or Japanese society or history, you can learn some courses which is offer bilingual courses.
Okay.
But you don't have any Japanese proficiency at the start, at the beginning. After you enter, you will learn Japanese, and then you will take some courses in English. And then after, like from third year, they will start to learn in Japanese language. So those courses, most of students after that course, they will get good job opportunity is in Japan because they can speak in Japanese language. Yes.
Okay.
And also, but there are many courses offered in English in science courses, natural science, yes, and also agriculture, engineering, of course. Yeah.
I'm interested in that. What would be the attraction of getting a job to a foreigner who has studied Japanese and then still working in Japan? I'm imagining there are very many other Japanese who understand the culture and everything about Japan. What is attraction of employing a foreigner who has studied Japanese and the Japan culture?
Okay. Actually, when you start working, you have to know not only Japanese language, but it's good to know that some customs and like some manners, which is a bit difficult to say that clearly. Yeah, but if you study in Japan, you will know that how Japanese act and what is their customs. Yeah, and then if they know that those manners and customs, they will be easy to fit themselves to the company's policy or company's situation. Yeah.
How supportive is the Japanese government of this education exchange that we are talking about? So then, in terms of getting immigration documentation, visas and such, how easy then is it after admission, for example, to do this? So it could be universities across Japan saying, look, we want more students to come in from around the world. But then on the side of government, is that support there as well to then give the necessary papers to come into the country?
Okay, actually this project which I'm working on is supported by the Japanese government, Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology. Yeah, it's called MEXT. And then they have also their own scholarship, and also they have some other partial scholarships. They use through other associations, but also Japanese government is trying to welcome many students from all over the world. And then now we are working on Africa. Yeah.
Why is the Japanese government doing this? Why are they supporting welcoming of students from all over the world, people to come and study and work in Japan?
Okay. Now, actually, now our society is shrinking because we are aging society we have, and then we need more people who can support our society, and then we have to be more internationalized in many various ways. Yeah. So first one, of course, Japanese government would like to welcome them to study in Japan, and then after graduation, they want them to work. But personally, if that depends on the students, how they feel. Yeah. But if they go to Japan as international students, their existence inspire us to be more open and internationalized. So, like international students can and African students can promote us and develop us. Yeah, that is what I'm thinking, and that is why I'm trying to,
So it's opening up the Japanese society as well to whatever is happening in other parts of the world, to interact with more people from other parts of the world. Now, if somebody applies and gets admission to one of these universities from Kenya and they come into with a student visa, does it allow them to start working immediately, or do they need to spend some time before then they can qualify to work as they study?
You mean after graduation?
No, before, as they are studying.
When they are studying, okay. Actually, the student visa can allow you to work certain hours, 28 hours per week, I think. Yeah. So if you have student visa, yes, you can start working as not full time, but temporary job you can get, and that one also good experience for them to know Japanese society.
Midori-san, how easy is it to acquire Japanese citizenship?
Citizenship. Oh, okay. Sorry. Right now, I'm not sure about it. Let me check, and then I'll come back next year. Next week. Yes.
Is it also something that happens? So somebody has come, an international student, come and studied in Japan. They have worked in Japan for a number of years. Can they, at some point, also gain citizenship?
Yeah, I know some foreigners. Yeah, they are studying. After that, they starting staying, and then they work. Yeah, and then finally they have the Japanese nationality. But about citizenship, actually, right now, sorry, I don't have details.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So now coming to Toyo University, Roisuke, we're looking at obviously charters for education. Now, what recognition in terms of education does this university have? So we're looking at people who've come through Toyo, working in different sectors. What are some of the careers that people have gone into after having attended Toyo? And then, what countries in the world are we looking at that they've been placed in for jobs, gone back to come work? after they've been through a Toyo education?
Yes. So there have been only a few international students who already graduated from our English medium programs, because the programs are established in 2017. So it's been only 5 years. So we just have the first group of graduates last year, and as far as the international students are concerned, some of them got a job in their home country, like in Vietnam, Uzbekistan, in Indonesia, and some other countries where they come from. But about 20-30% of them got a job in Japan, especially around in Tokyo area. And they have different jobs right now. Some of them are teaching in international school. Some of them are working in trading companies. So yeah, it varies.
Okay, so now what would be the hope later? Because you say that, okay, first set of international students have come and have graduated. What are you looking for? Is there a certain number that you hope to fill? Or is it just to, really spread awareness of what's happening, the quality of education that is offered, and say, come in as many as you want? Or are you saying a certain number then must be made up of international students? And then how are you looking at developing? How are you looking at then developing your English offering in terms of courses to include more courses going into the future?
Yes. We have been we were selected as one of the 37 top global universities in Japan. The project started in 2014, so this is the 7th year. So we have been receiving national grants to internationalize the university and the higher education sector itself. So we have the numerical number of international students that we should have for each year. So we are very actively recruiting international students, but as well, we are trying to increase the number of courses taught in English, to catch up with the global competitiveness among different universities in different countries.
Tell us about some of the most popular programs that international students are applying for at Toyo University.
Well, the most popular one is the IT program, Information Networking for Innovation and Design. It's, of course, they have to study in English, but they can also take courses in Japanese from the second year and third year. So, it's like twofold, like studying Japanese and also studying about the IT, computer science, technology. So, yeah. That program has been very popular.
And what are the minimum requirements for this?
Students have to have English proficiency score, and also they have to pass the initial screening. That's kind of about us asking students if they have the minimum knowledge of like mathematics, science, and technology.
So I'm assuming here, because we are talking about this conversation is taking place in Kenya, that then Toyo University and the other universities in Japan recognize our exams, the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education offered by the Kenya National Examinations Council.
Yes, we recognize that.
All right. We also have some international students as well in the country. There are those that are taking International Baccalaureate or IGCSE. Those are also recognized?
Yes.
Okay. So apart from the...
We are pretty open to those.
Sorry, apart from the IT program, which others are popular?
The second popular one would be the Global Innovation Studies program. This is about business economics mixed together, and students are supposed to kind of tackle to solve social issues through studying about business and economics.
Okay. And so, I mean, I guess by the time students are coming into a university education, obviously looking beyond in terms of work in Japan. I know we discussed, the opportunities that then would be available. But say, someone has finished their university education at Toyo University. What are some of the areas that you would then be able to place them if they were working in Japan? What areas then would they see that they could then get employment later on? I mean, you're not going to finish a Toyo University education and then start flipping burgers kind of thing, So what kind of areas do you see that they would then most commonly be placed after school?
It really depends on students, but I see some kind of polarization between, some students are really interested in local, small business in local areas in particular. Or there are some students who are interested in like very international, multinational companies or international teaching at international schools. So it really depends on student motivation and interest.
Okay.
I see. Midori-san, coming back to you. So I would just want to look back at the other universities that are offering different programs. I know in the coming weeks we'll be having more officials from other universities as well. But some of these 27 universities, how far spread are they within Japan?
How far? Oh, okay. Now that they are trying to promote themselves, but now they are trying to also to welcome more international students to their university. And then actually next week we will have Ritmeka APU, Asia Pacific University, and then the guests are Kenyans. After their studies, they started working for a university in Japan.
Right.
Yeah, so you can also hear about how Kenyans get the job and after the studies.
That will be interesting to hear. So in which other cities apart from Tokyo are they?
They are staying in Beppu at Kyushu Island. It's a bit far from Tokyo, central in Japan. Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you have people coming to study and then later on wishing to work and live in Japan, then there's a whole issue of trying to create that vibrant community, not just of students, but also people who have graduated and are already working in Japan. Are you involved in that, in making sure that there is, that bond that is maintained off campus into working relations, that they have a strong community of experts?
Okay. Actually, the university, they have some office providing some job opportunities after the graduation. And also, like, some students get some, like, seminar or, like, some consultation about how to write CV or how to make an job interviews. Yeah. So after graduation, it depends on the universities how they connect the students each other. But yeah, some university has good and strong relationship with alumni. Yeah, even after graduation.
Okay. All right. So even for those universities that, every time we think of, going to university in another country from what you're used to, the thought is that you would be in the capital, in the middle of the buzz of the country. So for those universities that, are outside of, the capital or the busiest city, for example, are they guaranteed, the same kind of an education that you will get in the big bustling cosmopolitan city, for example? Are they guaranteed that at the same time?
Yeah, of course it's guaranteed, because actually we have like almost 800 universities all in the country. And so not only, of course, Tokyo has many universities there, and they have also, of course, good quality education there, but the professors and the facilities, all university has good ones, and they guaranteed good education there. And especially, actually, if you think about living expenses, yeah, as we already told it's good to live somehow a bit far from the very busy cities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you want like to enjoy nature in Japan, it's good to live somehow a bit far from the busiest city, and then you can concentrate on your studies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Midori-san, you're right now in Nairobi, and we hope that next week you'll be joining us in the studio.
Yes, please.
So you've come to Kenya, you've toured across Africa and other parts of the world. If you were to talk about now the culture and the differences in culture and the way people relate with one another between what you've seen in Kenya and what you see in Japan, what would you say are the main differences that a student who then goes to start studying in Japan would pick out immediately and they need to know how to adjust?
Okay. It's a bit difficult to encourage. Yeah, because I already love so much Africans, so then maybe I become somehow African. But what I think, and some Kenyans told me that maybe Kenyans is like they can open to everyone, and then they can say what they think before they think about how they are going to say it. But in Japanese, we are not so much open to everyone. If you close to someone, yes, we are very open. But before you get close relationship, we are always thinking how we will connect to each other, how we can communicate. That is a bit different from Kenya and Japan. And then both of them has good points, and both of them has somehow a bad or like not good points. So maybe if we learn each other, it will be good, more good. And another thing is Bantu language, like Swahili. Swahili is this pronunciation is very similar to our language, Japanese language. We have iu, e, o, kakiku, keko, as Kiswahili have it. Yeah. So for Kenyans, it's if you speak Kiswahili or their ethnic language, it will be very easier for them to start speaking our language.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, great. Ryosuke, I see you nodding as Midori-san is explaining some of these things. You've dealt with a lot of international students arriving in Japan. What do you see as their bigger issues in culture shock, in trying to adjust to the lifestyle of in Japan?
Okay. Okay.
Well, sorry.
So it's you,
Yeah,
Ryosuke.
as far as yeah, sure. As far as I've seen international students, the biggest culture shock they might experience is, as Midori-san said, the communication style, the difference between communication style. You know, Japanese people prefer to have some kind of space in not only the physical space, but also kind of mental space when they first meet someone for the first time. So, you know, but international students, they, tend to be more open to others than Japanese people. So with that difference makes causes kind of stress among international students.
What mistakes have you seen students making upon arrival, or even in the first couple of years of going through, that you would want to warn other students about from end to end, whether it's in the application process and then starting school? What are some things that stood out to you that you would say, hold on a minute, if I were to advise students who are embarking on this process, I would stay away from 1, 2, 3, and I would definitely do 1, 2, 3?
Well, my little advice would be on the admissions interview. As I said, it's good that international students are open and they like to talk about themselves in the interview, and that's what the interview is all about. But especially Japanese professors, in the elderly age, they may not like being told about students themselves too much. It sounds like they are making a kind of
they're bragging.
Yes, the begging itself. So my advice would be a little bit, to be humble and reserved when they get into the interview.
Okay.
Whoa, that's a big
That's
one.
very interesting. It's very interesting because a lot of times you're on this side of things, especially coming out of school and the way things are changing, coming out of high school, you're more or less taught to be confident in your ability, and that you should actually speak about the things that you're very good at, be expressive about yourself. And so it would be seen that it's interesting that could be potentially the thing that will get you not accepted.
Yes, so you shouldn't be really bragging about yourself. Okay, I can do this, I can do that, but I have this weakness, I have this weakness, but I'm very confident in doing this and that. That kind of approach might be suitable for interviews with Japanese people.
So balance yourself out. Don't just talk about your strong points.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Also talk about the areas where you're weak.
Yeah.
And the elderly professor then looks at you and says, yes, I can see.
I can teach you.
I can see where we can teach you. This is quite interesting.
Very interesting. So then I guess what you're saying essentially is that, because I mean, reading and, getting to know a little bit about Japanese culture. So it still does play heavily, whether you're dealing in a modern age or you're dealing with new practices and ways of doing things. Would you then say that Japanese culture is still heavily interwoven in the things that are happening today in education?
Yes, very much. If you look at the classroom, yes, international students being outspoken and Japanese students being shy, and they keep themselves kind of reserved, and not really outspoken. So, I've seen a lot of those situations. Yes.
All right. We thank you very much, Ryosuke Hori, for speaking to us today and letting us know about admission to Toyo University and how Kenyans can do this. Just tell us about your website. Or is it going to the Study in Japan Global Network website where people would be able to get more information about Toyo University?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, so what's the website? You can tell us, Midori-san, what's the website that if people want to go and find out more information about studying in Japan, about the universities that are offering English programs and all?
Okay, all right. Our website is www.studyinjapan-africa.com. studyinjapan-africa.com. If you search Study in Japan for Africa, you will see our website. And also the Toyo University's URL will be tweeted in our SNS. We have Facebook and Twitter. And of course, I think SpiceFM,
yes,
you
we're
will
sharing
also
that as
tweet.
well.
Yes, yes, our URL.
Asante sana. Dr. Midori Diamond, the Study in Japan coordinator at Study in Japan Global Network, thank you very much for speaking to us and also for introducing us to Ryosuke Hori, who's the inbound coordinator at the International Affairs Office of Toyo University. It's been an interesting conversation, and we look forward to next week's conversation as well, Midori-san, as we speak to others from another university.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. Asante sana.
Asante.